64 years old and marching inexorably toward his second term as General Secretary of the Communist Party and President of China, financial policy is unfamiliar territory. China's most powerful leader since the great reformer Deng Xiaoping, some say since the great helmsman Mao Zedong, has made national renewal his rallying cry. At home, that meant a crackdown on corruption, with seized graft busters going after gouging officials no matter what their status. Hundreds of top-ranked tigers and thousands more junior flies were caught in the dragnet, an attempt to make the party's image as white as official short-sleeved shirts. Abroad, it meant muscular assertion of China's interests. Xi put his imprimatur on the Belt and Road Initiative, a massive investment program intended to extend China's strategic reach through Asia into Africa and Europe. For a man focused on the big picture, a China dream of state-planned prosperity to counter the American dream of rugged individualism, the nitty-gritty of the financial sector seems like an unwelcome distraction. Yet here Xi is, large and in charge, impassive and insistent. Past financial work conferences were important. At the 1997 meeting, then-Premier Zhu Rongji laid the groundwork for a massive cleanup of the banking system. In 2007, the China Investment Corporation, the country's $940 billion sovereign wealth fund, was launched. In 2012, policymakers picked through the wreckage of the global financial crisis. The 2017 meeting is a watershed. China's number one leader has delved into and mastered the complexities of the financial system. His speech is long, detailed, peppered with technical jargon. It's been written not by the People's Bank of China or the China Banking Regulatory Commission, but by the office of the leading small group, an elite team reporting directly to Xi. It's as if President George W. Bush, before the storm clouds of the great financial crisis had started to gather, delivered a lengthy speech on the hidden dangers in mortgage-backed securities and collateralized debt obligations. For Xi, though, the new focus on financial stability is not a choice, it's a necessity. In the years ahead of the great financial crisis, the Lehman shock that pushed the world's major economies into recession, China was already running off balance. The combination of the one-child policy, which reduced the requirement for spending on children and increased the need for saving for old age, and an inadequate welfare state, which pushed families to self-insure against risk of unemployment and illness, drove the savings rate higher. A high savings rate meant consumption was weak. The economy leaned heavily on investment and exports as drivers of growth. As the crisis hammered global demand, exports evaporated and reliance on investments increased. A state-dominated banking system and industrial sector, combined with creaking government controls on how credit was allocated, meant lending and investment were groaningly inefficient. In the years before the 2008 crisis, 100 yuan of the new lending generated almost 90 yuan of additional GDP. In the years after, that number fell below 30 yuan. More and more credit was required to produce less and less growth. Years of breakneck expansion in borrowing placed China in a perilous position. Banks lent too much, stretching their balance sheets to the breaking point. From 2008 to 2016, the banking system quadrupled in size, adding 176.7 trillion yuan in assets. Shadow banks, lenders that dodged the regulations put in place to ensure the stability of the system, exploded onto the scene, extending credit at ruinous rates to firms locked out of access to regular loans. State-owned industrial giants went deep into debt, paying for new steel mills, coal mines, and cement kilns, adding to already burgeoning overcapacity. Real estate developers painted their balance sheets in red ink, borrowing to build ghost towns of unsold property. Local governments dodged the regulations intended to keep public debt under control, creating opaque investment vehicles to borrow off the books. In the best cases, they did so to pay for worthwhile but unprofitable public works. In the worst, they wasted funds on lavish new offices, or the money simply disappeared into foreign bank accounts. Neither the economy nor the financial system was on a sustainable trajectory. The clear and present